Hey everyone, welcome to the Sound Test Podcast, an emergency podcast that was that was not planned. Um, Given recent developments in the video game space, it was integral for us to discuss. Um, this is the host, Bryan here. I'm joined by Maximilian.
Yeah, no one's seen this coming. No one's seen this coming. I seen you post something earlier today. I was like, huh? I was in the middle of teaching too, and then I seen you post that. I was like, hold on, okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to talk about this when I get home.
Too fast for us.
Um, I'm joined by DeYante.
Man, what the fuck, Keisha?
And we're joined by our friend Clayton, which so this was an emergency podcast. We just had to record this and get this out as soon as possible. We actually introduced our friend Clayton on the podcast that's coming out this Sunday. So this is your second introduction, but not really. It's your pre-introduction to your second introduction. So we're introducing you again, Clayton.
That was as confusing as the FNAF fandom, boy. I'm gonna tell you that. But Visco's pretty good because that is very fitting about today's conversation.
So, holy shit, Microsoft bought Activision.
Did
All
you
right,
see
that's
this coming? No.
podcast, everybody. Join us next time.
Okay, so today's date, January 18th, 2022, will probably forever go down in gaming history as a what day?
Oh,
Okay, so I came into work today, and I was getting myself organized, and I casually went on Facebook, and I saw on Facebook Activision Blizzard joins the Xbox family, posted 1 minute ago, and I'm sitting here looking at my phone. I'm like, I do not believe what I'm looking at right now. I really do not believe what I'm looking at right now. Holy shit, how is this happening?
Oh
man.
my god, they came out the wet work with this one. Honestly,
Bro, the first thing I did was call DeYante.
really.
bro, I was getting ready. I was in class. We were literally starting our fucking unit on phase changes in matter.
You called. Wait, the question is, did you pick up?
He did.
Oh my!
What's out the class?
Oh my
I
god!
Because
thought it was an emergency.
Right, I'm mad that you
it
didn't
was an
call me.
emergency. It was an
Bruh,
emergency.
it was. Bruh, I'm surprised. I'm mad that you didn't call me because first of all, that's something that would never happen. I was sitting with call by Brian. I'll be like, what the hell is
Like
he calling for me?
I didn't
At
call you.
fucking 8:40 something in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, Max, I didn't call you because I was banking on DeYante just to not have started working yet, and Max, I was figured like at the time I was calling, which was like 8:40 something or something like that. Like I would imagine you would have been already started working all that,
Uh-huh.
and then I had called my best friend too, and I was like, "Hey man, you ain't gonna believe what I just read."
You won't believe
Like
this.
anybody believe that shit. I looked it up after you called me. I was like, no way.
No,
I
I
can't
can't
believe.
believe
But like, it was like the CEO of freaking Microsoft went to sleep last night, and he's like, you know what? I had a dream. I want more money. Let's buy another freaking company. Let's go for it.
I got money to blow. Hey, let's pull out the roulette wheel. I got Activision Blizzard over here. I got I don't know, Koei Tecmo. I got
Oh.
Konami over here. Let's see which one to land on.
Just
Activision Blizzard it
right.
is.
Just
No,
have a dartboard. Just fling one is like, oh, Activision. I bet.
Right,
Man,
man. Watch
no,
here we
he's
come.
he's like playing a millionaire's version of Family Feud. It's like, what company do you want to buy next? Ding, 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 ding. Activision Blizzard. Number
You
one
should
answer.
diversify your portfolio.
bruh.
So, let me before we get into the thick of the discussion, let me read the press release, and this press release was straight from Microsoft, and in we're in what are we in Central Time?
We're Eastern.
No, we're in
Eastern.
East.
My bad, Eastern. So this was posted. Sorry. So this was posted like in California time. This was at 5:25 a.m. That's what the press release said. It was released. So that means like Phil Spencer woke up and chose violence. The first thing in the morning. Okay. Um, Reading directly from the press release. Creators of Call of Duty, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Tony Hawk, Diablo, Overwatch, Spyro, Hearthstone, Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot, StarCraft, and more join Team Xbox. As a team, we are on a mission to extend the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet. We all know that gaming is the most vibrant and dynamic form of entertainment worldwide, and we've experienced the power of social connection and friendship that gaming makes possible. As we pursue that mission, it is incredibly exciting to announce that Microsoft has agreed to acquire Activision Blizzard. Over many decades, the studios and teams that make up Activision Blizzard have earned vast wellsprings of joy and respect from billions of people all over the world. We are incredibly excited to have the chance to work with the amazing, talented, dedicated people across Activision Blizzard Publishing, Blizzard Entertainment, Beanox, Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon Studios, Affinity Ward, King, Major League Gaming, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob, Treyarch, and every team across Activision Blizzard. Until this transaction closes, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft Gaming will continue to operate independently. Once the deal is complete, the Activision Blizzard business will report to me as CEO Microsoft Gaming, and this is coming from Phil Spencer. And there's a bit more to that. So that was released early this morning. Let's just put out a blanket. What did this make you feel when you found out?
Let's start with the most affected, and that's Max.
No, that's probably DeYante's the most affected out of
That's
all of
probably.
this.
I'm saying. I'm trying. My brain is trying to comprehend like Crash on Xbox.
First party
I have a
Xbox.
whole spiel for
Right.
you.
For right. Like,
So
what?
for me, of course, Overwatch. I mean, yeah, Overwatch. You get boo boo boo. We talk about Overwatch all the time. But fucking, I just can't. Well, I'm gonna have to imagine a world where Tony Hawk, Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot, games that used to be PlayStation
Exclusive
these are games
PS2
that were born
on the PlayStation.
the PlayStation, born with Sony, bred by Sony until, well, at least until all three of those franchises just kind of like threw up on themselves and then try to eat it up in like the 2000s when they didn't know what the hell they were doing with the games. Well, except for Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk had the Underground series, and that was great.
Yeah.
But Spyro and Crash were struggling on PlayStation, and then they became a true third party, game series. And so it's just trying to wrap my head around how the fuck like this will play out as far as like the classic games. Like, are we gonna see a resurgence of like another case with the Insane trilogy or the Reignited trilogy, possibly getting a re-release in the future for Series X and S, where they'll run at 4K 60 and they got all the bells and whistles of current gen hardware.
Right.
Or
I
are we
don't
gonna
see
see
him,
PC? Are we gonna see even better PC ports or something? I don't know.
man. I don't see a reality. I'm seeing something a bit as big as this. I don't see a reality where they don't do something like that, where they don't release all of that on Xbox. I mean, come on. Imagine if that'd be like Halo and Gears of War on PlayStation.
It's not gonna
Mm,
happen.
I'm
Never.
saying,
no.
In years. And you know what's really like, I, I just imagine for a moment. Not even Overwatch, because Overwatch and Diablo have been on multiple things. Like they've both been on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Can you literally just picture fucking WoW on a console?
no, I can't. I
Mm-mm.
cannot. I
Like,
absolutely cannot.
oh, World of Warcraft, either its current build or the WoW Classic that just got put up like a couple of years ago, where that's on console, possibly. Because it says Xbox, not Microsoft, but Xbox.
Mm.
And these are very heavily, regarded games. Everything on that list are heavily regarded names. Call of Duty, literally, they fart a game out every year. Overwatch is struggling, but that's another story for another time. WoW and Warcraft, even though the Warcraft game that they came out with was doo doo water, you know, they can bring it back on Xbox and on PC with renewed life. Probably learn from their mistakes, hopefully. And like I said, WoW on a fucking Xbox Series X or S, just World of Warcraft on a console. Period. That would be crazy to me. That's like compete. That would legitimately compete with the juggernaut that is Final Fantasy 14 right now.
Mm.
Crash and Spyro and Tony Hawk. I could see those games slipping through the crack and still being like on everything else for a little while longer. But I don't know if Xbox and Phil Spencer, they probably might try to put like a stranglehold on like shit like Call of Duty, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. They might bring back Guitar Hero and say only on Xbox. They might bring back StarCraft 3 and say only on Xbox, only on Game Pass.
Only on Game Pass. Isn't that gonna be something?
Like just thinking about that, those kind of implications can literally turn and flip the game industry on its head in the next couple of years. Of course, this is like in infant mode. Like it's just a thought, and the deal is happening, but it hasn't been finalized. We don't know. Maybe Phil Spencer might accidentally like trip and spill his coffee on whoever the other deal aggregate is, and the other guy is just like, no, and they just the deal's off.
The deal's gonna
So,
go off. Clock is
but
changing
this
off.
this is a it's early in the year 2022, and Phil Spencer ain't pulling no punches. Like he already done came out with a haymaker, and the round just started. Like
This about
literally first round.
this
We got
Right.
about to be a
more to go.
KO.
Month.
KO
Round
knockout.
one. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Perfecto. Oh
So
my god.
it's beyond interesting. I'm intrigued.
It's really, honestly.
I feel sentiments towards that as well. I'm intrigued, but I'm actually scared because these like just a few of these franchises I grew up playing in my childhood, like Guitar Hero, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, and Overwatch. Most recently, because man, once I got on Overwatch, I was hooked. But Guitar Hero, that was obviously an Xbox thing. Like it started on Xbox and then went over to the PlayStation and stuff like that. Like we have multiple platforms. But now I'm actually very interested since Overwatch is like my primary game right now, how they're going to treat the franchise because we have Overwatch League. And then with Overwatch League, we
I
have
didn't even think about Owl.
Exactly. And we just got crossplay last year to play with other consoles. So
Xbox
Switch,
were like, no, turn that shit off.
like yeah. So like, are they gonna shut down the PlayStation servers for that? Are they gonna allow it to keep crossplay? I'm not sure of the logistics like or legalities
Okay,
surrounding
I
that.
will get into that when I speak.
Ooh, but ooh, child. They have the money. Apparently, they have the money to take these like big, heavy hitter franchises like Call of Duty. That's like not even 9 times out of 10, probably a 50-50 chance that was your very first person shooter. That or
Right,
Halo.
right.
Now, as somebody has started playing on Black Ops 2 on the 360, I hell, like I just have no words for the other games that are here, but I'm just most shocked at PlayStation exclusives going to Xbox Game Pass. Like I'm excited to like relive my childhood through some of these franchises, but now I have to invest in what a new console and a new streaming a game streaming service.
I'm not investing in shit, but I'm happy for Xbox players. I used to be an Xbox player back in my heyday, but yeah, this is a big move. This is a big move, Microsoft. You keep doing things like this, you might win me over. I might have to go back to the dark side.
Don't you mean
Oh,
the green side?
I know this is your podcast, but you can eat one of your locks and turn off your mic for a little bit, just 2 minutes.
Oh, I haven't, bro. I haven't been gunned yet. I'm just waiting for everybody to get their stuff in.
I have
I'm ready.
one one
I'm ready.
more thing. I invested in this
So,
PS5 a few
also
months ago.
Clayton, my first person shooter experience wasn't Call of Duty. It was actually on the GameCube with GoldenEye 007 Rogue Agent.
I'm so
Like,
sorry.
my
Yeah,
first console was an Xbox, so
it's no bueno, no bueno at all.
oh, Brian, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
You know, this is gonna be one time I'm gonna be cocky, boy. But boy, we Xbox fans, we eating, dog. We are eating, bro. We ain't gonna be ever famous over here because we just keep on winning, dog. For first it was I'm so flustered. First we started taking
He's
over.
we're all degreed people. Let's just remember that.
We started taking we started taking
For answers,
playground
why?
games. We got Undead Labs. We started eating up all these studios. Then we started getting the your Fallouts. That's ours now. Your Dishonored. That's ours now. And now we got Call of Duty. We have World of Warcraft. We have Crash Bandicoot. Oh, we about to be violent in here, champ. Bruh, we eating. Not only are we eating, we're getting so big, people think we're a monopoly now. They trying to get the government to stop us. That's how powerful Xbox platform is. Do y'all understand the ramifications of this?
Bro, this is
My
gonna stick.
argument is, my counter argument is it took them this long to do all of this shit because mind you, these guys are the same guys that wanted to market TV as their selling point for their previous generation of fucking consoles when they didn't start it out.
We came a long way.
Y'all
y'all came in a
that paint
long.
thinner, and y'all actually started being part of the business of side of gaming. So
So,
kudos to that. But y'all are going a little too far.
all right.
Oh
So,
yeah.
let,
Y'all in places y'all don't even belong, baby. What you doing what you doing with Crash?
so,
What you
so,
doing with
um,
my little purple dragon, Spyro? Baby, get out of here.
let's get down to brass tacks.
Let's get to All right, brass tacks. Phil Spence is buying up everything.
Not down to brass tacks.
So, let's look at what franchises Microsoft would get from this deal. We're talking, of course, Call of Duty, Overwatch, Warcraft / World of Warcraft, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Diablo,
Fucking Diablo.
Guitar Hero, and StarCraft. That's a lot. But not only is
You
that
know, I forgot that Guitar Hero was Activision for a very long time.
Really?
yes,
Like
but here
go for it.
here's the thing that I'm seeing from my perspective. So, in one of the articles, they did say that, oh, we're not taking, we're not moving communities away from, uh, PlayStation. Like the quote was, I'll just say this to players out there who's playing Activision Blizzard games on Sony's platform. It is not our intent to pull communities away from that platform, and we remain committed to that.
Don't
So,
listen to Phil, everybody. Phil's a liar.
okay, he's not really a liar, and let me explain why. Um, when it came to the acquisitions in the past, Microsoft has actually been good on, if there are like massively multiplayer heavy games that were already established on other consoles, they're not cutting ties for that. The biggest example is Minecraft. Minecraft still gets updates to this day for PlayStation and Switch. Um, they've introduced crossplay. Microsoft themselves, with the ownership of Mojang and Minecraft, had introduced, you know, share play. I mean, on crossplay, so that all these different platforms can also play together on Minecraft. And even with the pseudo sequel, the spinoff to Minecraft, um, that still got placed on Switch and Sony platforms. So what I think is going to happen, and what he means by that, Dungeons, yeah, that's what it was, Minecraft Dungeons. What I think is going to happen is that certain games like Overwatch, that they're not going to just completely shut off PlayStation from that. That's not going to happen. Just the same way they're still supporting Minecraft all this time, they're not going to just outright just get rid of that. And the same way, like how other Microsoft owned properties now are still being sold on other platforms, that's still going to happen. Like Quake, the Quake remaster, that wasn't just exclusive to PC and Xbox. Like that was right. That was on. I believe it's on Switch too, but I definitely know it was on PlayStation. Same thing with
Yeah,
the Doom the Doom ports of Doom 1, 2, and Doom 64. Those were put on Switch. Those were put on PlayStation. Certain things like that are still going to happen. So like they're not just going to stop selling. They're not going to just stop servers for old Call of Duty games. Those are still going to be live and well. That's still going to be supported. And so my hypothesis from this is that when he says things like that, certain games, in particular, I think Warzone is still going to be supported no matter the platform. So I believe once the deal finally goes through, and I'll talk about a little bit later about the finality of the deal, I believe that's still going to happen. But I also, if I was a betting man, I also think that Overwatch is going to happen as well. And I say that because they made it a big deal with Overwatch being crossplay.
They
And
did.
I did.
Overwatch 2 was already announced for practically all consoles. I believe it's even come to the Switch, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would bet my bottom dollar that it's definitely going to be on the Switch.
So
Same.
I don't think they're going to sit here and go back and be like, oh, well, Overwatch 2,
Renege.
yeah, Overwatch 2 is not going to come to PlayStation and Switch now. It's going to be an exclusive. One, I think that wouldn't be good from a business standpoint when people they've probably already invested the ecosystem into those platforms already, especially since Overwatch 2 is somewhat of an upgrade to the original series. And
Yeah.
seeing that, Blizzard already planned on supporting Overwatch for the long term with Overwatch 2, I wouldn't be surprised if Overwatch 2 is still being sold in like 2026, still on PlayStation, despite it being a Microsoft, franchise. So those things in particular, I think that's going to be the move in which they will keep producing those things, and they'll keep selling Crash Bandicoot. They'll keep selling Spyro. the older versions, like the reignited trilogy, they'll still be selling those on stores. So, but after that, I think once this deal is done, the newer Call of Duties are not going to be sold. I believe those are going to be definitely going to be exclusives. And we're talking about like, the single player campaigns. I think Warzone is going to continue to be a through line, but the newer franchises, games in the franchise will be exclusive. I think the same is going to be for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. So if we get a Crash Bandicoot 5, that's most likely going to be a exclusive. If we get a Spyro 4, that's going to most likely be an exclusive.
And that's painful because shit like because I told y'all, I love the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Like that's just dope. And for that game to resurge in like this recent decade and like be as good as it is. Same with I haven't played the new Crash Bandicoot or the fucking like um
The remaster.
yeah, the
Yep.
Crash remaster, whatever.
Well, you played a
That
Crash remaster.
well, I played a little bit of it, but not enough to say I like this. Because I'm so used to the original game. Um, for those to kind of like come back recently, and then all of a sudden they're just about to be on a completely different system, is like, ouch.
Well, then,
And a lot of people are just very, very, very comfortable with it on other platforms.
well, let me say this as a Xbox fan. Um, the this is such a like, and this is just taking away the fanboyism out of it. This is such a strategic move for Microsoft, and here's why. This deal is going to help bolster Microsoft in ways that they just have not had before. So,
For years.
and but it's certain things like Phil Spencer has been on record saying that he's wanted more E-rated games and family-friendly games, and with this purchase, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro fills that niche.
Boom. Yes.
And it's like there's a handful of family-friendly Microsoft things. We have Banjo Kazooie, we have Battletoads, um, but and like I guess you could say Psychonauts is somewhat in that, that's like teen rated, but you know they've never, or Viva Pinata, that's another one, but
Yeah, if they bring that back, that'll be something.
but given the fact that Rare has kind of evolved and changed to kind of doing their own thing, we're sitting on a lot of Rare IP essentially. Um, but with this, Microsoft instantly has two huge mascots, that's been formulated in the, like established heavily in the gaming sphere for decades at this point. And to have that, to have a kart racer now with Crash Team Racing, they have a kart racing franchise. They can fill in this new niche, but also think about this from the other standpoint. Remember the up until this point, pretty much Crash Bandicoot and Spyro was dead because both of the studios that worked on them within this, and this happened within the last year at Activision Blizzard, both those studios that worked on the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games got dissolved either into Blizzard as a support team or got tasked with doing Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
As they should, because Skylanders, what was that?
But no, like the thing is, those games proved that they could be successful. Crash Bandicoot 4 was a success, not in Activision Blizzard eyes, but it was a success with gamers. It was critically acclaimed. The Spiral trilogy was critically acclaimed. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy, the Crash Team Racing remaster, all of these games were critically acclaimed, but they weren't big money makers for Activision Blizzard. So they took those teams from making those games and put them to funnel for Call of Duty. And here's the other thing is that, and I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, this is great for the gaming industry, because a lot of people don't like the consolidation. I understand, I get that, but I think it's great for these franchises because now we have a chance of getting a new Crash Bandicoot game. We have a chance of getting a new Spiral game. We have a chance of getting a new Tony Hawk game now. And the fact that the majority of Activision Blizzard's development teams were just doing Call of Duty because it was the biggest earning franchise. The key thing about Microsoft's strategy when it comes to this is that they're not looking for the highest earners. If they was looking for the highest earners, they wouldn't have bought Double Fine, which historically
Yeah.
made nothing but like indie level titles. You know, they're not going to buy
It's
a.
like,
But even Psychonauts was realistically not going to bring a big profit. It just realistically wasn't. It's a very niche game. It's a platformer, and it's not a big name in the gaming sphere. Psychonauts literally had 3 games. The
yeah.
third one that just came out last year. You know, but Microsoft is their focus and strategy is on bolstering Game Pass. So they're not worried about these record-breaking highs. They're worried about having content. They're worried about having a diverse pool of games to choose from. And with that model in mind, we're not going to have them pushing out Call of Duty every single year. Why? Because they're not caring about this constant machine, pushing out the same game every year. They're going to want to have diversity. They're going to want these IPs. They're going to want to have different things for people to come to the Xbox platform. And that's the power of this acquisition. It is the long-term benefit to what this acquisition will do for the Microsoft brand and what they can do for these IP and all these franchises.
Unless they become stingy and they become in their ways like a certain hat wearing company where they don't want anybody messing with their intellectual properties that they now own.
But like, to quote like Paris Lily from Gamertag Radio and Kind of Funny Games, you don't sit here and purchase something for 7. The actual title the actual price was $68.7 billion. You don't sit here and purchase something for $68.7 billion
Billion. That's a lot of goddamn money.
and don't utilize that.
Right.
Oof.
That's a lot of money.
They're gonna make it back though.
They're going to make
Yeah,
that back insanely fast.
yeah, but even though like obviously this is a big money move because obviously what you said with the subscribers for Game Pass, you mentioned earlier about monopolizing the gaming industry, and I agree with that. Like, first of all, Microsoft is already big. They have things outside of gaming to actually fund their entire corporation, but just the gaming department itself, it was already pretty huge because they already had heavy hitter game franchises. But now it feels like the gaming industry is leaning more towards that consolidation that we're talking about, and I think it is a terrible idea. It's a big power play. They have some big cojones dishing out almost $70 billion for all of these franchises. However, the gaming community itself, we have like this niche that we have, like, oh, Xbox is better, or PlayStation's better, or Switch, or whatever your chosen platform is. But if we have those near and dear franchises like us 90s babies hold on to with these franchises, it's gonna cause some division within the gaming community, and I'm just not ready to see that discourse online in game. I mean, Microsoft already has enough. They already have 25 million subscribers to their Game Pass, and they make millions off of that per year, possibly billions. And if it's just about money and just being hungry for it rather than the love and care for the characters and franchises that we've come to know and love, though there are some good games and there are some bad games, I'm terrified for every last game that's on this list.
But
Every last
I'm
franchise.
but my argument is
It's
that
gonna be about that money first and foremost. Oh,
Without a doubt. You gotta think they're businessmen. Or the people that make these decisions are businessmen, not gamers.
all right. They're not waking up in the morning and be like, you know what? I want to make a really amazing Banjo Kazooie game with
I
the lowest budget
I
possible. I want
I
to make
If it was about the games, we'd
I,
have good games.
I mean
right.
I can't agree with that because Activision was definitely a business first over creativity. You know, when we go back and look at the things that Bobby Kotick has done to this company over the years, and here's the other thing: Activision Blizzard always had to report to investors because they're a publicly traded company. They have to report to investors. So these investors are having meetings, quarterly saying, "Hey, why isn't this profit up? Why isn't, this franchise doing as good as it is? Oh, well, we're funding money to X, Y, and Z." They don't have to do that anymore. Under Microsoft, they don't have to do that anymore. And here's the other thing. With Game Pass, like actually going through Game Pass and, just seeing the amount of stuff they have, one of the cool things that Microsoft's strategy is going forward is to have a tiered system. And what I mean by that is that Microsoft has small level games. They publish a bunch of indie level games for Game Pass. So they're filling that small niche if you just want something quick and easy, nice creative style games. Then they have that good, what we call that double A gaming, where you have like not too big franchises, but quality level games. That's where we get our Psychonauts, you know. Uh, and
Or
then
Haiti.
yeah, or Hades, or well, I will take eh, Hades could probably be in the indie category, but you're having these double A experiences where, or like the medium, where they're smaller experiences. They're not these ginormous, triple A experiences, but they're good quality games. And then you have this triple A space where these games are just like, they're putting all feet forward. That's your Gears, that's your Halo, that's your Forza. But with Game Pass, just looking at what they get from this deal, Guitar Hero easily fits in that double A category. Tony Hawk, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot easily fits in that double A category. Games that they can produce with good amount of support on a good, healthy release schedule, so they're not, constantly hammering on them to do a new game every year. And then you have your big titles like Call of Duty, like Overwatch, like uh, Warcraft, that you can put in this AAA space, Diablo, that you can put in this AAA space, that they're going to put the funneling, the time, and the effort to it. Remember, this is the same Microsoft that delayed Halo, their biggest, most identifiable franchise. They delayed them for an entire year
Its entire year.
just so that it could be quality. Think back on Call of Duty. Think about how many Call of Duties were broken at launch.
Hella.
Think about what was it, Warcraft 3 remastered, and how awful that was. That's not going to happen under Microsoft's leadership. Just the same way, like we're seeing delays for Stalker 2. That thing got delayed for like what, 6 months. Microsoft is not is they're in a position where if developers need time, they're going to give them time. If they need the funding, they're going to give them the funding. If they need the creatively spark, they can do that. Look at Rare. Rare hasn't produced a classic Rare game in years. So what did they do? People want a Killer Instinct. Microsoft, had a studio to handle Killer Instinct. Rare didn't have to do that. Somebody else did. They wanted Battletoads back. Microsoft funded another studio to make Battletoads. So just the fact that because they have those all this IP doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, they're going to run it to the ground. They have the ability to really give these teams the time they need, give them a lot less pressure than what Bobby Kotick and these investors were dealing with, and to really like foster a positive gaming and work experience for these teams. And that's why I'm like, that's the bigger picture of why I'm so excited about this.
Because it seems like it's a lot more opportunity for some of these franchises to actually grow and be better than
Yes.
the parts.
So
I think
yeah, so in that sense, um, now that you explained it, now my eyes are open a bit more. So better quality games, new just new ownership, and I might be able to get on board with this. I really might. It's just whew, it
I'm
just
saying
came out of
it's a big.
nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. It's going to be a big shift, but we'll see. It's likely a move for the better.
Yeah, because if Lord knows, Overwatch 2 was first announced back in what 2018, 2019,
God, has
where
it been that long? Jesus.
yeah, like there's
Oof.
speculation and they in this past Overwatch League season they did just a little bout with a couple of teams or a couple of players from different teams on the Overwatch 2 like in the game. And now that we have that preview and all that stuff, where's the hype for Overwatch 2 with that being delayed? Hopefully Microsoft Gaming will treat that game right. And what you've been explaining before, how they treated other games and other franchises, right, like you said with Battletoads and stuff like that. Um, I I'm at least excited for Overwatch. That's what I'm excited for since that's my main hype. I know I keep bringing that up, but if they pull off Overwatch 2, they're going to prove everybody right that this was a good decision. And I think that's going to be the defining game. Not Call of Duty, not all these other games. Overwatch 2 because community is still strong. The
Mm-hmm.
community like the game is still being played by millions of people every day and this will make year 6 in the summertime. It'll be year 6 that this game has been out and the and people are still like playing. Like, granted, it's not as big as, of course, when it first came out or when the first Overwatch League was broadcasted, but the hype is still there. The community is there, and this is like another juggernaut that's going to really get into the gaming industry. And I just feel like um they better not fumble this bag, this $70 million bag.
Mm-hmm.
Billion, I should say.
Well, let me say this, and let me get into more the more serious standpoint from this, because I'm going to go through a few things. Um, just stat wise, as I said earlier, it was a $68.7 billion deal, huge deal. Um, Game and it also reported that Game Pass has 25 million subscribers. Now, obviously, that's not 25 million people paying the full price of Game Pass because Game Pass Ultimate is like $15 a month. I know for me personally, I buy mines during Black Friday, so I get them much cheaper, but that's still a lot of revenue if you're thinking about it.
It
And
is, and a lot of people have Game Pass.
speaking of the revenue, one of the press releases it basically said that with this acquisition, that would put Microsoft as the third highest revenue in the gaming sphere. And
Sheesh.
can you guess what the first and second spots are?
What?
Activision and Blizzard.
No, I'm saying with Activision Blizzard, that puts them at the third.
Oh
Who's
my
the top?
god.
Who's the top two?
Nintendo.
Gotta
Nope.
be.
Top two
What?
is Tencent, which is that company that owns like a good half of the gaming industry.
Because of the mobile games.
Well, I mean, Tencent owns a lot. Like they owned what's the studio that does Borderlands?
Oh,
Um, yeah, 2K.
No, 2K doesn't
Gearbox.
own Gearbox. Yeah, 2K had the publishing, but they didn't own Gearbox. Yeah, that's one of the things. If I'm not mistaken, Tencent owns like 40 studios. They're massive.
Sheesh.
And the other one is Sony. Sony is the other high rolling, like high revenue stream. And so, just to put that in consideration, how much that put them forward. So that's putting them forward in Nintendo in terms of revenue. But to continue, um, this adds over 13 new studios to Microsoft in-house studios. So this puts Microsoft, I think it was a little over 30 studios now that Microsoft is going to be under their branch. Um, Now here's the thing that we kind of have to understand. This is Activision Blizzard is a publicly traded company. So things work a little bit different in terms of acquisition and things like that. So this deal is going to take a while to go through. And more specifically, this deal is set to finalize by the end of June 2023. So what that means, if the deal ends at the if they have up until, let's just say now, until 2023 or June 2023 for this deal to finalize. That means you're not going to get an exclusive Activision uh, title exclusive for Xbox this year. That's not going to happen. And you're probably not going to have an exclusive Activision Blizzard title next year either. You know, realistically, we won't see the seeds of this until honestly around like 2024, maybe 2025.
Okay.
Because if you look about the last biggest acquisition with Bethesda, that was what, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Just now in 2022, we're actually getting exclusive Bethesda games with Redfall and was it Starfield?
Starfield.
Yeah, we're just now getting exclusives, Xbox specific exclusives from that deal from 2020. So it's going to be a while before there's some true exclusives that's going to be on. So don't expect, you're still going to get your yearly Call of Duty this year. That's going to be on all platforms. Um, I'll even bet that Overwatch 2 comes out sometime early 2023, and that again is going to be on all platforms. So we're not going to see the big ramifications of this software wise for a while. Um, Now here's the other big serious moment. We can't just not talk about the elephant in the room, which is Activision Blizzard's discourse over the last year. Um,
Ooh.
there's been at this point almost seems like countless amounts of reports of gender bias, sexual harassment, overworking, unjustly firings of staff, poor staff conditions, constant raises for Bobby Kotick. Um, so we can't sit here and act like that wasn't a part of Activision Blizzard for this last year.
Bryan, I was ready for this part.
Go ahead, Clayton.
Before you start, I'm actually going to be heading out myself. I'm actually going to be heading out in no mid show because I have an appointment coming up that I completely forgot about.
It's okay.
Yeah,
But
You good?
but hey, yeah, this is a big thing, and yeah, always glad to be a part. I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. I'm out.
see you, Max.
All right.
See ya. Deuces. Oh man. I am ready for this part. Oh, Bobby freaking Kotick, Active Blizzard CEO. Let's talk about him for a moment. So let's back it up to 2016, 2017, when
Oof.
he completely ignored multiple rape allegations. Multiple rape allegations by a male employee who was a supervisor under Sledgehammer. Like, let's talk about that. How are you going to ignore um women? This is why the whole Me Too movement is is still as predominant as it was back then today. Um, you're going to ignore rape allegations. You're going along with discrimination in multiple forms, sexual harassment, and then in recent times, somebody committed suicide because this woman, her nudes were leaked by her coworkers, and like it just created a downward spiral and like this avalanche of walkouts and resignations and hundreds of sponsors just dropping out. Like, if you're going to be a CEO of any kind, you have to take everything seriously, even if you don't think it's serious. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody on planet Earth, or at least everybody should agree that if you see something, you gotta say something. And he saw it, he didn't say it. He's like, screw you, I have money, I have power. What you work for me. I don't care about your work conditions. I truly do not care. I'm going to go hit up my boy Phil Spencer, and I'm going to make this deal. Like, this come 2023, everything's going to come into fruition. And I personally feel, as somebody who is of queer identification, that he I, excuse my French, he's just a complete jackass. Like I'm black, I'm gay, and that's just two minority groups that I identify with very closely. And then I see this guy who, unfortunately, is the CEO of one of the companies that for the games that I play religiously, and I've been playing religiously. I play darn near every day. It it hurts my heart. I love the product. I don't like the CEO. Um, but the very like sliver of happiness and light at the end of the tunnel per se that I see through all of this chaos is he has to report to Phil Spencer all of his actions, even though he's going to be in control of Activision Blizzard up until this acquisition is finalized or whatever like that. He has to report to somebody bigger than himself. And I know that person who is bigger than himself in his statement that he released at 525 all the way in California. He specifically like really called him out in one paragraph like, hey, we're going to treat our employees with respect, our new employees, we're going to welcome them in with open arms. I'm not, this isn't verbatim, I'm just paraphrasing, but we finally get somebody that's one, not afraid to stand up for their employees, and two, he wasn't afraid to call him out, even though it wasn't a direct call out to Kotick. He called him out, and I'm so freaking proud of that. Like, come on now. You get activism and you get video games. This is like, oh, this is a whirlwind of emotions, man.
Well, you got to think in the mindset as well is that the reason why nobody would really say anything is because they were afraid of him and the people that he bred from their upbringing, which was the World of Warcraft that literally cemented, their money making in the early days. So like WoW and especially Diablo 2 and probably I guess Warcraft 3. Those were the three big gun in StarCraft were the games that really just set Bobby Kotick to just go. And like it was just making the money, money, and that's what bred that kind of awful workplace etiquette, that bred that kind of like just terrible mindset of what was going on in the office spaces, and again with all these women and any of the employees that work for Activision Blizzard, whether it's a man, woman, or whatever you identify as. And that's what's kind of the weird point of this whole deal, where you in your brain you're thinking, oh, he's a cool guy. He just bought Activision. He just made a deal with Bobby Kotick. What the fuck?
Well,
Yeah.
well,
It's literally like the angel and the devil, and they're like butting heads, and you're just like, wait, but they're shaking hands,
well,
huh?
here's the thing, and there's also positives and negatives, of course, to this. The negatives that many people have been spouting is, yes, of course, industry consolidation, and that standpoint too is like, why would Microsoft purchase this company that's been having all of these issues, political issues, social issues, harassment issues? Why would Microsoft purchase these people? And here's my thing. I believe in Phil Spencer that he's going to essentially clean up what's going on. And let's be mindful that Phil Spencer publicly said this months ago, that he called them out, Activision Blizzard, out on the practice that they've been doing. Like this he wasn't silent on this. He made sure that he was on the forefront and saying, "Hey, this is not right. We do not support this." And the crazy thing behind that is that obviously a deal like this doesn't happen out of nowhere. Yeah, we're joking about it, that it just, he woke up and is like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy Activision. Like we joke about that, but obviously this is something that took many
Fucking
months.
feels like.
This is something that took many months, possibly years, to formulate. So with that being said, he understands that, hey, this last year was pretty awful for this company, but he also knows that Microsoft's image is super like important in any aspect. Microsoft's image to public relations is super important because Microsoft is this ginormous company. And what I feel is going to happen, Phil is going to clean house essentially. And so, some people saying online that essentially to get rid of Bobby Kotick, and the 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 wording is that he's still going to be CEO until this, at least until this deal ends, because it's not a finalized deal. They can't just lose their CEO during this process. They still need somebody to run the company.
Mm.
And until this deal ends, he's going to still serve as CEO. The other thing, obviously, Phil doesn't want that negative. He doesn't want that baggage coming in with this deal. When people obviously do not want Bobby Kotick in the situation, gamers don't want Bobby Kotick in the situation. The only people who wanted Bobby Kotick to remain as CEO for Activision Blizzard was the shareholders because he's making them money.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So what's going to happen, and people may see this as a negative, if Bobby Kotick is let go, either unjustly or justly, he's going to get a big severance package. He's going to get a big payout. We all know that. But
It's coming.
right, it's coming. But I would rather Microsoft bite the bullet, write that check, get him out, and get any of his cronies out of this company, so that they can clean it up from the inside out. And I didn't really think about this until I saw this picture, and they recently posted, along with the news article, is the Xbox gaming leadership team, and it didn't strike me until somebody said something about, made a comment on that picture. There's quite a bit of diversity in that picture. Now, ethnic diversity, not so much, but looking at the leadership team that Phil is under, there's, let me count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, including Phil Spencer. Out of those 13 people that's part of the Xbox leadership team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them are women.
Mm.
That already is very different from many just tech companies in general. And out of those 7 women, 2 of them are of color. Now, obviously, it's not the most diverse situation, but even in that picture, you see those faces, and you see that's a lot of women in there. Oh, there's a black woman in there. There's a Chinese woman in there. Oh, wow, they're using their pronouns. So the fact that they have that diverse already in the leadership team, and you have them being forward with a lot of the social issues and the social things that's going on, Phil Spencer is not going to sit here and let somebody who's been an accused abuser, somebody who's been notoriously terrible to his employees and to women, he's not going to keep somebody like that in his fold, and he's not going to have somebody like that represent Microsoft Gaming. So I don't bet on him being here for too long. Once that deal is inked, they're gonna probably have a very quiet resignation for him. They're gonna probably write that check, get his severance package, and get him out, so that they
And
can
I can't
really push those studios back into a positive light.
I
That
can't
shit
wait.
ain't gonna be quiet. There's gonna be a resounding parade up and down the goddamn street. That's
Exactly.
gonna be a momentous occasion.
Bro, what? If we ever get COVID resolved, the first convention, that shit gonna go stupid. Like they're gonna have a cosplay contest dedicated. Hey, if
Like the best misogynist. Let's see who can do this.
exactly. Dress up as a character that Bobby Kotick is no longer a part of or associated with.
Boy, they
Every,
they're gonna have to change that development studio from Toys for Bob to something else. Toys
man.
for Phil.
Oh my god, that shit's terrible. I didn't realize until now.
But
Oh,
I'm but all in all, I'm happy once his behind is out. Um, I'm starting now to get excited about this um
The
the
idea of him
purchase.
leaving.
The idea of him leaving. That's awesome.
Join us in the Bobby Kotick dress up competition.
Yeah, and I am so like the last thing that I would want is for him to be charged and the people who committed those heinous crimes to be charged. That would be the icing on the freaking cake
Oh, that
to
would be
all of this
great.
madness. Like that would be awesome. And Microsoft's team, I'm so glad that we have women or people who identify as women and people of color. Man, okay. I started off a little bit salty. I was, um, I was very reluctant on speaking about the Bobby situation, but no, it needed to be said because let's be honest, the gaming community is not the most welcoming place to some extent because there are some communities out there that are like so gung ho, like women need to belong in the kitchen and there are only two genders and man and man and woman shouldn't lay with each other, but it's all tied in together because it is a representation of the new company that these franchises are going to be under.
Hmm.
Raining cats and dogs and pigs should fly. Some
If
people think like this.
if you want to see a pig fly, just watch me jump on a trampoline.
Oh
Sir,
God,
sir.
trampoline's gonna break, and it's gonna be you.
The pig flew. It's not going to continue to fly. The springs are going to break.
um. So as we wrap up this portion, because I do want to ask DeYante and Clayton a specific question, but there is one really huge silver lining that I think is going to happen, which will be so great for everyone. Well, at least for PC gamers. If this goes through, that means we can finally rid ourselves of BattleNet on the PC.
Helmet's so fucking dog shit.
Bro, finally.
Bruh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Dog,
Helmet's dog shit.
like, as a PC gamer, it gets so annoying. Like, usually I don't have a big deal about it, but it gets annoying when EA stuff is only on their platform. Activision Blizzard stuff is only on their platform. Uh, you know, it, just put everything on Steam and Epic Game. But like, Microsoft has been good for the last 2 years of putting their releases on Steam. So this could probably mean, hey, Call of Duty could be back on Steam.
Activision, Blizz, baby, drop that shit because we're not using that no more.
Overwatch could be on Steam. Crash
Right.
Bandicoot and Spyro could be back on Steam. Like
Oh boy.
that's a net positive for everyone, every PC gamer. Um, so to finish off, and we obviously got to have some type of console wars discussion. Um, Clayton and DeYante, how do you feel now about what is PlayStation's position going to be after this? Because
Ooh.
PlayStation could essentially lose Call of Duty, Spyro, Crash, Tony Hawk, Diablo. They could possibly lose all these franchises from ever seeing new releases after the next few years on their platforms.
Well, since they just acquired Bluepoint and Housemark, which is real cool, but we don't know what in the world they got cooking in the oven at all, like at any point in time whatsoever. Even though they just did two amazingly done games, and Bluepoint's been on a roll anyway, because they did the remaster of Shadow of the Colossus, I think.
I mean, but they didn't they do the remaster of Demon Souls?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They that and Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, because PlayStation they don't. I mean, unless they just pull Killzone out of their ass and like, all right, this is the new generation of first person shooter. They're gonna have to pull something out of their ass because they don't have any first party shooter
Yeah, that's crazy. They don't.
at all. Like
Oh.
Call of Duty was it because they would get the exclusivity deals and they would get it first a lot of the times. Um, They got shooters and they got JRPGs for days. They don't have shooters right now. They don't have any platformers like talking about.
And
Um,
Sony
yeah,
itself,
racing. They about to have We're about to have Gran Turismo.
and like Sony kind of fell into a niche in the last few years. I say last few years, but like last decade of like third-person action games. That's just kind of what
Right.
Sony's
Yeah.
bread and butter is now,
Great and expansive as they are, like
and
last
JRPGs.
God of War, Horizon, and Uncharted are fantastic fucking games. Like nines and tens, woohoo. But like that's four big ass fucking games that people can't just pick up and play.
Right, and like,
Mhm.
do y'all think like does Sony need a response to this? Does Sony need to have a shooter to you know to compete
Yes.
with the lack of Call of Duty? Do you think
That's what I said. They
Yeah.
need to,
a platformer to fill in the gap now?
yeah,
They
because we don't
definitely
want
do.
Super Lucky's Tale.
Bro, Super Lucky Tale's not bad. It's a
Oh
good
my God.
game.
Well,
They
regardless
got
of
two,
that,
they got two options for coming back with like FPS, and that's Resistance: Fall of Man, and do like a nice juicy reboot of that because the original on PS3 was actually pretty cool for the time,
mm,
and
but
Killzone. But when they did Killzone as a launch game for the PS4, that apparently that didn't do too well.
And we haven't heard from
mm,
it since.
Yeah, it's been laying dormant since the launch of the PlayStation 4. So
well,
it's a toss up for FPSs, which is like the leading genre of video games right now. Um, it would be very, very, very weird if like just I don't know, out of nowhere, Sony just said, "Oh, we purchased EA,"
Oh,
or
jeez.
"Oh, never mind, we got Tencent, so give us Gearbox,
Oof.
give us 2K, and yeah."
Now,
Then
unless
that's where it's cooking.
unless they come out with
Game
like
gas and fire. So I don't know. I truly don't know what to expect from Sony.
honestly, if Sony doesn't pull a trick out of their hat soon, they're gonna lose a lot of customers because especially with the hype around the PS5 and people are still trying to get their hands on it, people are already like apprehensive of just trying to invest in a PlayStation 5 when it's so hard to find one and now with this going on?
and yeah, and that's what I wonder for like the casual gamer, because I feel like Sony's bread and butter is hardcore gamers who want those experiences like God of War, like Horizon, like Last of Us.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, like who wants these? And if you're a JRPG fan or just a
Yeah,
Japanese
you.
game fan, you kind of have to have a Sony PlayStation. Like, or a fighting game fan, you have to have a PlayStation. There's so many exclusive Japanese games that go to PlayStation and they don't even think about Xbox. It happens a lot. So like, Sony still has that niche, but them casual gamers, man, that's a big
Hurt.
deal. That's a big deal. Lots of casual people like Call of Duty. Lots of casual people is going to buy a console to play 2K,
Tony
Call of
Hawk.
Duty, and Madden. That's a lot of people's bread and butter. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's crazy to tell those people, hey, yeah, you can't get a PlayStation anymore if you want to play Call of Duty. You got to get an Xbox. That's so
Hey, you
wild.
bragging any? No, you can't do that. You got to get an Xbox.
That's
Like
crazy,
that
dog.
doesn't sound right. Spiral the Dragon on Xbox. Like that fucking blows my mind.
Oh no.
It's just so weird. So I don't know. Sony's in a weird spot, and Nintendo's just kind of on cruise control right now because they're doing a little bit of everything.
I don't think Nintendo has to worry about a thing. they,
No, they got it going on. Like
they,
the Mario franchise, please.
bro,
Can't be touched
Nintendo
right now.
sold like what over
They like
a
stretch their
hundred.
hands out and they cracking their fingers, the
Bro,
knuckles. Like, yeah, let's just go ahead and drop Bayonetta 3 on them real quick.
please. I just need Nintendo. I just need a date. I just need to know when Bayonetta's coming out, please. I will marathon through the first two games twice. Just let me know. Just let me know when 3 is gonna drop.
But, they're like, you want a Kirby game? Yeah, Kirby right here. Here's Forgotten.
30th anniversary for Kirby this year. Woo woo.
Oh, you said you want an open world. Breath of the Wild 2 is cooking. Don't worry.
No, without Breath of the Wild 2, we have freaking Pokemon Arceus.
Where's our Metroid Prime 4? Shut up. It's coming.
Whew, but
So, it's interesting. Everything now, like they really did just like throw a wrench in everything as far as the console worlds are concerned.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
this changes a lot.
So, good job, Spill, whenever this goes through.
Violent Phil.
Right. Yeah, why is he still passing out random Game Pass codes? Like he did at the Game Award.
Oh yeah, they did do that. It was just like random, like, all right, here's a bunch of codes on screen. Go get it.
The screen and shit.
I bet you he felt like Oprah. I bet
You get Game Pass. You get Game Pass. You get Game Pass. Whew, but any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'll keep mine brief. Power play. Phil Spencer. I give you credit. You grabbed Bobby Kotick by the cojones and you said, "Try me, ho." And I'm ready to see what Bobby is going to do or not going to do when he's no longer CEO. So, kudos to that. Hopefully the new games are in great hands under Microsoft Gaming. Mr. Spencer, you bet not be pulling my leg.
Mr. Spencer.
Final thoughts, DeYante.
Why are you whispering?
This is ASMR.
No,
No.
okay. All right, we got to end this if we about to go into ASMR. DeYante, you got anything else to say?
We're probably over time.
Yeah. I just want to let y'all know that like 8 minutes ago, Banjo-Kazooie just got announced for the Nintendo 64 expansion pass. If
Are
you
you
pay that
serious?
$1, boy, you get to play Banjo-Kazooie on your Nintendo Switch.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is. Oh. What? Oh, okay.
I was literally, I like, when I refreshed YouTube, it said no views and it had like nothing underneath it. I was like, oh shit.
See,
So,
look. Microsoft is playing nicely. They're giving Banjo Kazooie back to Nintendo temporarily.
Yeah. Have one of these.
But so yeah, I'm excited as an Xbox fan. Obviously, good, bro. I don't have to pay for Call of Duty no more. In the next few years, I don't got to pay for Call of Duty. That is great.
Fuck up, Brian. This podcast is over.
I don't have to pay for that crap no more. I can just get it.
This is I'm not getting Vanguard. You and Mike are gonna play that shit by yourselves.
No, get Vanguard. It's fun.
Shit. I'm upset.
And boy, trust me, like, and Call of Duty games, boy, them things don't go on sale. Like, if they go on sale, the most they go to is like $40.
Yeah, that's how much that one that y'all got was, and I'm gonna have to wait like another fortnight before this one comes to be on sale again.
I'm
I
just
mean,
like,
at least it's not $70. Hell.
right? I don't have to, bro. I don't have to worry about it. I can just like, hey, new Call of Duty dropping, download. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, just snip off one of your locks and eat it. Choke.
Stop. All right, we're gonna call it. Thank y'all for rocking with us. This impromptu podcast. There will be another one up later this week as planned on Sunday. But yeah, peace. See y'all in the next one.
You're
Goodbye.